Hi everyone, in this video I'll try to explain how you can remove all kinds of throttling problems from your laptop so that you have the most optimal gaming experience that your device has to offer. I personally own a ThinkPad T480 and was facing a lot of throttling issues while gaming with this laptop. I tried finding a guide which would help me solve these problems but couldn't find all the details at one consolidated place and was only able to figure out the problems and the solutions after a lot of trial and error. So this is my attempt to bring all the relevant information together for all you guys, and I hope this helps you out. It's a slightly longer video given we'll go through a bunch of details, but feel free to skip to the sections relevant to you in the video. So for the CPU part, we'll be using a software called ThrottleStop. You'll find the link of the software in the video description. So basically, once you open it, this is the first thing that you'll sort of see on the screen. It seems like a complex piece of software, but it actually isn't, believe me on that. And I'll make it very easy for you guys to sort of follow through the entire process. Of all the settings and checkboxes that you see here, we'll be only using like a couple of them, and that's all you need to know to sort of improve the efficiency of your CPU and make it much more better performing both in games as well as day-to-day usage. So the right section tells you the current live details on the CPU, right? These are the sensors telling you current temperature, the maximum temperature, the kind of CPU usage right now, and a bunch of the other items. So what we'll have to do is we'll start off with working on the Fever button, right? So all you have to do is click on the Fever button. This section will sort of help you change your CPU voltages. The idea is to undervolt your CPU and ensure that leads to a subsequent temperature drop. So all you have to do is click on the CPU Go button first and check the unlock adjustable voltage down below. Post that, all you have to do is play around with the offset voltage. Moving it to the left will decrease the voltage, and this requires a certain bit of trial and error to understand what is the kind of voltage your CPU is stable on. For me, it broadly comes out to be the range of around minus 80 millivolts. So once I hit that range, all I have to do is click the apply button and make sure the OK save voltage is immediately radio button is checked, just to ensure that if you undervolt or overvolt too much, and if you see blue screens or anything, you don't have to restart your computer again and work through the changes all over again. That's the whole idea of checking this radio button. We'll do a very similar thing here on the CPU cache button. Check this unlock adjustable voltage and play around with the offset voltage. So the broader guidance is to ensure that both the CPU core and CPU cache are at the same amount of undervolt or overvolt. So if you see here, our CPU is currently at 80.1 millivolts, which is the number that you see right here, and we'll also move the CPU cache to the same number, 80.1 millivolts. There you go, right? Click on the apply button again. So what this effectively is doing is, for the same amount of clock speed, your CPU is utilizing lesser voltage, and consequently the temperature increase is lowered. The higher the voltage, the higher the amount of heat being generated in the system, and the higher the temperature. So the idea is to reduce the voltage to reduce that subsequent change in temperature. It doesn't really affect any kind of your performance of the CPU. What we're doing here is ensuring a reduction in temperature at the same clock speeds. So that's it. From a Fever standpoint, there's not a whole lot you need to change beyond this. And there's a couple more nifty settings which you might or might not want to use. There's this Intel GPU setting which you could also possibly play around with, but based on my experience so far with using ThrottleStop, these settings make minimal amount of difference. So once you're done playing with the voltages, all you have to do is click on the OK button, and I do recommend using some kind of benchmarks. ThrottleStop has an inbuilt benchmarking tool. You can sort of benchmark it for 12 threads and the size of 256M, and ensure that your undervolt is stable. I've done it a couple times for my laptop, and I know around an undervolt of 80 millivolts is more or less stable for my system. So I'm not going to run the benchmark again, but it's very important that you ensure that your system stays stable, and the best way to check for that is running these benchmarks. The next thing that we're going to go through is the TPL, which is also called the Turbo Power Limits. This section helps you specify a time for which the CPU will stay in its turbo mode. There's two types of turbo modes built into CPUs. Either it's a short turbo or it's a long turbo, and you can play around with this timer here, right? For me, it was originally set at around 27 odd seconds, but I can effectively drag the slider towards the right to increase it to a very high value to ensure that the CPU stays in turbo mode. One thing to note here is the fact that setting the turbo time limit to a very high value will ensure that your CPU will always continue to stay in the turbo mode, and it might possibly increase the amount of heat dissipation. So play around with this slider to figure out the optimal value for you to ensure the right balance between turbo and heat dissipation. So once you have found the right settings, all you have to do is click on the apply button here. Click OK. Once you made your changes, all you have to do is click on the turn on button, and for me it was already on, but once you ensure that it's turned on, it'll start working on the latest changes that you've made. Click on the save button to save these settings. You can click on the limits button to monitor your current status in terms of what is the exact reason of the throttle. So to refresh these, all you have to do is click on the respective buttons. At any point in time, if your CPU starts to throttle, you'll see the respective reason here being highlighted in either yellow, which means that your CPU has throttled in the past, or red, meaning it's throttling at that point in time. So it'll help you diagnose the exact reason of throttling and work around to fixing those specifics. Now the section on the left side will help you fine-tune slightly other details. An increase in the speed shift value will reduce the clock speed of your CPU, and a decrease in the value will increase the clock speed. So a zero value on speed shift EPP will ensure that your CPU stays at the maximum clock speed it possibly can achieve, while a higher value will continue to ensure that the turbo boost actually runs at a lower clock speed. I use a value of somewhere around 100 to 105 while I'm gaming. It ensures that my CPU stays at a clock speed of around 2.7 to 2.8 GHz, which is the right balance between the heat being generated and the clock speed I need. So you'll have to figure out the right balance for your CPU by playing around with this number. And make sure you uncheck the disable turbo button to ensure that your processor works beyond the base clocks that have been set by your manufacturer or Intel. And you should also uncheck the BD PROS-HOT checkbox here, which will help you ensure that if any other component is heating up, it does not lead to the CPU being throttled because of that. For example, if you have a dedicated GPU on your laptop as well, this will ensure that if your GPU heats up to its throttle temperature, it should not affect the CPU throttling because of that. If there's a check mark appearing in the BD PROS-HOT button, it means that at any point in time your CPU actually throttled. So this box should never be checked. So once you've done making changes to your settings, all you have to do is click on the save button, turn on throttle stop and minimize it. And that's it. Your CPU is now running based on whatever changes you've made, and it should ideally lead to a temperature drop of at least in the lines of 7 to 8 degrees Celsius. For my CPU, the temperatures dropped from 85 to 70 degrees. So I could see a 15 degrees of improvement by just making these changes. The next thing that we're going to do is tweak the GPU numbers in a very similar fashion. We will be ensuring that we're able to drive the same GPU clock speeds at lower voltage, and we'll be using MSI Afterburner to achieve this. So what you see on the screen right now is the numbers for my MX150 GPU. Currently, the voltage is at 925 millivolts and the temperature is 53 degrees Celsius to achieve a clock speed of 1480 MHz. Now, if you press Ctrl F on the Afterburner screen, you'll see a graph like this. So the graph shows an increase in millivolts as the GPU frequency continues to grow up. But what we're going to do is tweak these individual points so that we achieve the desired frequency that we're looking for in megahertz at a much lower voltage than it is right now. So what I've done is I've already set up a profile which sort of achieves a similar effect. So if you see the default graph for MX150, the frequency is around 1500 megahertz for a voltage of around 925 millivolts. So what I'm going to do is try and achieve the same frequency number at a much lower voltage. And if I were to show you that graph, it would look something like this. I already have a profile set up with that graph. So all I have to do is run Afterburner every time I restart Windows and just click on this profile so that it switches to the changes I want and I don't have to repeat the process over and over again. So this is what the graph looks like after I made the changes. I'm able to achieve a stable clock frequency of 1350 megahertz at only 775 millivolts. So you'll have to play around with these numbers to figure out the most stable frequency voltage curve for you. But the idea is to ensure the frequency is increasing up to a particular point in voltage, which is the maximum frequency that you want the GPU to be at. And post that, the graph just flattens out, right? So in every game I play, my frequency stays at 1354 megahertz at 775 millivolts without affecting my frame rates at all. But the temperature has reduced from 75 degrees on the GPU to close to just 55 degrees. So that's another 20 degrees of temperature drop that I've been able to achieve. Your mileage may vary depending on your GPU build and your laptop thermals, but you should see a significant drop of at least 7 to 8 degrees Celsius once you do this step. Another problem that I was facing with my T480 was the fact that the fans would never fire up to the maximum possible speed even during gaming session. So I had to download a software called TP Fan Control. So this software provides me an ability to control my fan speeds, my laptop fan speeds from inside Windows itself. All I have to do is click on the manual button here and provide a value, right? So while the range is shown to be 0 to 7 in terms of fan control variables, I can actually add much higher value and it kind of still works. For example, at a manual value of 2, you see the fan speed coming down to close to 2800 RPM, right? Now if I were to change this value to 64, the fan speed would go up to as high as close to 5000 RPM. So every time I'm going into a gaming session while using this laptop, I actually ensure TP Fan Control is set at 64 to provide that extra boost in terms of fan speed while gaming. It's a good way to shave off another 4 to 5 degrees from both my CPU and GPU temperatures through this tiny little software. You can also specify your own curve in terms of what the fan speed should be at a particular temperature, and this is what the smart mode is here. But I still like to manually just increase the number to 64 to ensure the maximum possible RPM whenever I'm doing those gaming sessions. And you can bring it back to either BIOS or smart mode after you're done with your gaming session. Yeah, and that's it. So all you have to do is minimize this by clicking on the tray icon at the bottom and you're all set. There are some settings in Windows which we also need to tweak. Firstly, while gaming, you should always ensure that your power source is connected and your power mode is on best performance. Secondly, after that you need to make sure that your processor settings are at its best. To do that, right click on your battery icon, go to power options, click on the change plan settings and click on change advanced power settings. Here, move to the processor power management tab and your maximum processor state here should show 100% when battery is plugged in. Similarly, in the PCI Express tab, link state power management should show off when plugged in. This ensures maximum power being offered to the PCI Express lane. Also, in the system cooling policy, make sure it shows active when the battery power source is plugged in. Just click OK. This ensures optimal settings for your laptop for gaming from a Windows standpoint. There's another slight change that we need to make to Windows settings, which is to turn off power throttling in the group policy editor in Windows. To do that, press the Window R key and type in gpedit.msc. Go to Administrative Templates, click on Systems and scroll down to Power Management. Click on the power throttling settings here and double click on the setting here and make sure this is enabled. So this is to ensure there is no power throttling happening in Windows. Just click OK and close the group policy editor. In the BIOS settings of your laptop, another option to check for is Intel SpeedStep technology and make sure you disable it. The MX150 GPU on my laptop had a throttle temperature of around 70 degrees Celsius because of this setting being enabled. After a lot of trial and error, I was able to figure out that disabling this feature in the BIOS settings of the laptop removed this limit altogether, and the GPU was able to sustain loads at higher temperatures than the original 70 degrees Celsius throttling temperature. This may or may not work for your specific laptop, but it is still worth giving a shot. If you have been using your laptop for a while, it is also good practice to change the OEM thermal paste on both the CPU and the GPU of the laptop with a branded thermal compound with good heat conductivity. I use the Noctua NT-H1 thermal compound for my laptop, and it runs around 6 to 7 degrees cooler after this change. Keep in mind this involves opening up the laptop and may void warranty in some cases, so you should proceed with your own judgment. So that's it for now, guys. I hope this video helps you in fixing the throttling issues with your laptop and you have a better overall experience. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.